Well, good morning. Here we are to July the 17th, 14th, I guess it is. And man, hard to believe. Quickly flying through 2026. I hope that this week finds you doing well. Hope that this morning finds you doing well. Thankful for here. We've been able to get some badly needed rain, and that has been a huge blessing. Thankful for that it's not been flooding. I know that's been the area in some areas west of us, in Tennessee area in particular, and so thankfully we didn't have that. Not sure about the mountains. I know they were calling for some potential up there, local flooding, nothing like Hurricane Helene, but nonetheless, it's been a good amount of rain for us. Been certainly something for which we're thankful. Well, I want to get into our study here this morning, and there's a lot of uh, things that we might say are pretty upside down, pretty messed up in our world today, the culture in which we live. We are living in a culture that is, I think, becoming increasingly more enamored with things and money and possessions and all of that. We're being governed by a mindset that would suggest that the happiness is going to be found in a well paying job, in an abundance of things, nice vehicles, nice house, be able to take off on elaborate vacations, do whatever we want to do, buy whatever we want to buy. And this seems to be a lot of what is governing our thinking. As I was thinking about this devotional this morning, I uh, was kind of in my own mind. I didn't really gear the title this way I was originally going to, but our pursuits reflect our values. We might say it this way: our value system determines our pursuits. So, in other words, if I am valuing all of the money and all of these things and these possessions, then that's what's going to drive my energies and drive my focus. So I'll put all the time in for work. I'll put all this into that, and we might miss the family. We might be absent here and miss church, but that's okay because man, I can't pass up this kind of a financial opportunity. That's reflective of a person who is governed by money. A person might be governed by happiness, and so it's just whatever I want to do. And weekends become more about me having to just go and have fun. That whole church thing, that's just really ties you down. And that's a whole day that you end up losing if you go to all the services. I mean, come on. And so now we're kind of governed by a different mindset. My point is that whatever it is that governs us is going to ultimately be reflected in what we choose to value. Well, Proverbs turns what we value in many ways up on its head, turns it upside down because it puts the focus on something that really matters. And that's the focus here of Proverbs chapter 3, beginning in verse 13. Proverb says, happy or blessed is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. Much of Proverbs 3 is dealing with this pursuit of wisdom. And so the text naturally lends itself towards saying, okay, what are the benefits of this? If we're going to use financial terms, as much of the descriptions are going to suggest, the return on the investment of wisdom is far more certain than a return on an investment in a financial world or in the world of whatever it might be that we value. And so this is what he begins to point out. The merchandise or the gain of it, the return from it, is better than the merchandise or the gain of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. In other words, the return on that investment is something that is of greater value than gold and silver, regardless of how highly it's been refined. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. So again, we're coming back to this value system that is here. It also not only has this great return, but this is better than the most exquisite forms of wealth that we could imagine. It's better than rubies. You take everything that you desire and put it all into one basket, and wisdom is going to be far greater than that. Well, I would argue that we probably do not see this kind of value for wisdom, or we would pursue ourselves a whole lot more if we did. And this is simply the reality of it. And so he goes on and he says, a length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. So you have God, and oftentimes, if you go and you look at different artistic depictions of ancient cultures, you'd have funny looking characters with images or things that they're holding in both of their hands, the rulers. Oftentimes they had a scepter in one hand and something else in another, wealth or whatever. The point is that this is what is being pictured here. So what he's saying is, okay, on one hand, you've got the length of days, the length of life. On the other hand, you've got all the riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. This is exactly what people are looking for. The problem is that we are looking for in the things that can't provide that. And so we get frustrated. We pursue all these things only to find it's empty. So then we try something else. And life just goes from one pursuit to the next, to the next, to the next. Maybe this job is what's going to make me happy. And the answer is found in a right relationship with God. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her. Happy is everyone that retaineth her. Can't help but think of Genesis chapter 3, when Adam and Eve went about trying to get the fruit from the tree of life their way and not God's way. God said, don't touch it. Adam and Eve said, no, we're going to go ahead and get it because look at all that we can gain. Well, I'm going to say that there's a way for us to gain this kind of wisdom. There's a way for us to gain the peace and the security and the value, all of these things. But in order to do that, we have got to be focused on the right pursuits. And until we are focused on the right pursuits, we're going to discover that we are just going to struggle and muddle on through life. And that is not what God wants. God wants us to enjoy life, to enjoy the blessings that He's given us. We should not be this miserable Christian that just absolutely cannot put a smile on our face, can't find joy in anything. That is not a God honoring believer. That reflects a believer whose mind is in the wrong place. And to be honest with you, it needs to change. That's just simply how it needs to be. Let's take a good look at our pursuits, because what we are pursuing is reflecting what it is that we are valuing. And if we're valuing the wrong things, then we're going to pursue the wrong things. So let's take a good look at that. Good morning to each one of you. Appreciate each of you being on here. I do hope you have a good day today. And Lord willing, I will see you back here in the morning, and brace for another moment of truth. All right. God bless you guys. Appreciate you. And Lord willing, I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. God bless.